Hello, I am Naveen Day, and this is a Bridge City News Special Reports. Today, we bring you the people of the protest. We have a production crew on the ground in Ottawa, and this is a compilation of just some of the footage from the past few days. You may have seen some of this video here on Miracle Channel or on the social media platforms of Bridge City News. Either way, you will see the people of the protests in the context of the weekend and hear what they have seen in their own words. Ottawa is the site of the Freedom Convoy protest, or as some are now calling it, Trudeau's truck stop. On Saturday, our production crew, led by video journalist David Craig, immediately hit the ground running once they entered Ottawa ahead of the convoy.
Hey, thank you guys. We're here right in downtown Ottawa, right in front of Parliament Hill. You know, majority of the people that we have come across so far are actually locals, local Quebecers who have made their way to Ottawa or living in Ottawa. We haven't even started to see the influx of the rest of Canada coming through, whether from Eastern Canada or all the way from the west as far as Prince Rupert and in BC. It's going to be interesting to see how the day grows, to see as the pressure mounts. But there's definitely a very energizing atmosphere around here. People are happy and excited. People seem very, very peaceful. They're here to stand up for what they believe is their freedoms, which is a beautiful thing to see. Canadians using their voice.
It was not long after our crew arrived in Ottawa that Canadians from across the nation began arriving at Parliament Hill. The first people they encountered were locals from Quebec and Ontario.
Hey guys, I'm here with Nick. Nick, tell us where you're from.
I'm from Quebec, South Shore, Montreal.
Right on. So why are you here?
I'm here for, the future of my children. I got my youngest is 3 years old. She never seen a real Christmas yet. I mean, it's outrageous for what coronavirus is, and so I'm here to provide them a future. I mean, I'm here for freedom, and I'm here because I had to be here. I mean, it's our duty as citizens, as Canadian citizens.
Yes, so you just showed a little bit of what you sacrificed as well with your daughter, and what do you hope to accomplish? What do you hope the end result is at the here?
I mean, it's got to stop. We got to get our country back. It's game over. It's, no mandate, no passport, no mask. Let us live our life.
Hey Martin, why are you here?
For freedom, for all my friends, my family. I sacrifice very much money for here, but it's amazing. That's an historic moment. You know what I mean?
100%.
Woohoo!
Our point man, David Craig, sent us a report shortly after speaking with two people because the sides of the crowds were beginning to swell. The police were unsure of what to expect.
People are starting to gather again here as crowds are slowly moving in, but the interesting thing that happened overnight, as you can see behind me here, that you've got a bunch more semi-trucks that have joined. This road right here, that's behind me, which is Wellington Street, that's a little bit past the Parliament buildings. Yesterday was clear. There's a number of police officers back over here that were blocking the street to go through, but somehow all the trucks have come in here and they've now taken up a location here. The police have backed away, whether willingly or whether they felt like they're getting encroached on, we're not sure. But now the trucks are spanning the whole width of Parliament Hill, and you've got more and more trucks and convoys that have been going at different parts of downtown. So trucks are getting closer and closer. The Ottawa downtown is getting more and more gridlocked as well, but things are still very peaceful, energetic. You can hear all the drums and all the people rejoicing around, but today's probably the coldest day of the last 3 or 4 days as well. But it's going to be an awesome one. It's sun's out and people are coming through.
Last Saturday morning, as the crowds gelled together with the truckers, our crew soon realized Canadians of all kinds were coming together peacefully, and the groups were cooperating with the police. The atmosphere was not one of aggression, but everyone worked together peacefully with the same goal in mind, a peaceful Canadian protest.
I just want to give you a quick update when I talked to the lead trucks that moved into the other side that was unoccupied yesterday. They told me around midnight or 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. last night that they were hanging with the police officer at the front, and the police officers were totally cool and great, and they actually just moved out of their way and they allowed all the trucks to move in to encroach and to come along the whole Wellington Street. So I want to let you guys know the trucks weren't pushing or trying to create a problem. The police officers said, hey, come on in, and they moved out of their way willingly, and now the trucks are occupying all of Wellington Street.
people in the crowd began to notice our crew and their camera. We met with an Ontario farmer overwhelmed with emotion and asked our crew to come meet his family. Honestly, when we watched the clip here in our Lethbridge studio, we could feel the excitement and emotion exhibited by this Canadian farming family. They eagerly shared why they joined their fellow Canadians in Ottawa this past weekend.
It's contagious what's going on here. We're going to try and get to the front, catch what's going on, and just hear from the Canadian people themselves. Let's go. I'm jealous of you, I'm going to be honest. This is amazing. I'm jealous of you. It's fantastic.
Right from Montreal.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All the way from Calgary. Calgary, yeah, 40-hour drive. Huh? No, I'm a news that we're honestly trying to show the positive side of this.
Yeah.
The mainstream's just twisted this, trying to make it look like evil people that are trying to twist it. So we're going out of our way.
Friends here.
How you doing?
What's your name?
Jeremy. Can I get you guys on film?
Yeah, sure.
I want to show every positive person I can get my hands on.
I'm Jack.
Awesome.
We're with the
Okay,
Ontario.
well, our camera's here. Let's turn around. So this is our camera guy here. We're Bridge City News, and I want to know, where are you guys from?
Ottawa.
All the way from
We're farmers.
Awesome, awesome.
We're from Woodlawn.
Well, what brought you guys here today? What is you?
Well, we're members of the Ontario Landowners Association. We've been fighting for freedoms and property rights for years.
Yeah.
And we think what the truckers are doing is just wonderful. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fight that needs to be fought, and thank you to all truckers for doing it.
Yeah.
They've made the world pay attention to Canada, and the same concerns are happening in every country in the world.
Absolutely.
So this could be as part of the beginning of change, getting back to freedom and justice and what is right. And telling government they work for us.
Amen.
They need to be listening to us, and they need to respect our constitutional rights to freedom.
What would you say to maybe the mainstream media that's trying to twist this to make it look bad, make it look evil? What would you say to them?
How can you live with yourself?
Well,
It's sad for the Canadian people that are led in the wrong direction. I'm here for my grandchildren and my children to live in a country that you can make decisions and have pro-choice. You know,
And how can you keep lying? Like, you know, you lie every day to the Canadians. Do you sleep at night?
I know. We right before we came here, I literally was watching the news, and they said that this is the minority, and that they're not. Don't worry, they're just the minority, and they keep pushing that narrative. But honestly, all I see is love, kindness, peace, unity. Yeah.
So many people are smiling for the first time. They're not wearing masks. They're not afraid.
and children are smiling again.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming out and taking a stand. We appreciate it.
Well,
thank you for talking to us.
thank you for being here. You guys have traveled a ways.
Absolutely.
And we need some truthful news.
Yeah.
And we depend on independent people like you.
Come check out Bridge City News, guys. Bridge City News, we're going to keep doing this. We got to show it.
Good for you.
On Saturday, Ottawa may have been the epicenter of the Freedom Rally, but as we see here in these next clips from Manitoba, the movement sparked something special across our nation as people came together to protest the government mandates in their areas.
I've joined the Freedom 2022 convoy here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. We are helping support Ottawa, all the men and women in Ottawa. Man, this is exciting, guys. Canadians have finally come together. This is a true Canadian. When you see them love their brothers and sisters the way all this love is floating around here, it's so awesome. It's a God thing, and God is bringing freedoms back to Canada.
Hi, my name is Raymond Garand. We're on the east side of Manitoba. We're doing a drive into the city to show support for the convoy in Ottawa, and we strongly believe that mandates should be kind of straightened out, because we've got a lot of problems here that have to be rectified. And you know what? The federal and provincial governments have to understand that, because we have many people here that are hurting so bad. Depression's a big problem.
I'm a proud Canadian, and I'm telling you, I haven't seen the heart of Canadians come out like this in 2 to 3 years. Canada is uniting. Canada has to get back to proud sons and daughters. who have freedom and life, and that's why I'm here today, for freedom in our nation. Go Canada!
The convoy in Winnipeg stretched 49 kilometers from Highway 1 all the way to Portage Avenue. Looking over to Western Canada, truckers headed to the Coutts border crossing here in Alberta with a slow roll and a powerful message for our politicians. BCN's Angela Stewart has that story.
Honking horns and roaring engines, truck drivers and supporters from all over southern Alberta gathering at the Flying J truck stop bright and early just before heading down to the Coutts land border crossing to spread an important message.
We're hoping to achieve the end of all mandates for all Canadians, especially Albertans.
This convoy, similar like the one happening in Ottawa, but these drivers hoping to make a bigger impact by blocking the border.
We figured we could do all this kind of stuff all at the same time. Those guys going into Ottawa, we can make a stronger and bigger statement.
Supporters say Canadians have been under the restrictions for far too long.
The 2 weeks to flatten the curve is gone. It's come and gone long ago. We're now in 2 years, and we still aren't getting the results that they've been promising. It's time to stop. It's time to stop the mandates. People are tired.
People even showing up and parking their vehicles on the side of the highway to show their support for the participants of the convoy.
We see that the Albertans, the Canadians, they don't want this.
Honestly, I never expected it to get this big, but it obviously shows the province, the country, that we don't agree with the decisions that are being made.
Well, a pretty massive turnout from truck drivers and supporters from all over Alberta just before the Coutts land border crossing, as you can see behind me. Now, organizers of this convoy tell me they hope this blockade will send a message to the Kenny government and the Trudeau Liberals with the hope that all COVID-19 mandates will be dropped. Reporting from the Coutts land border crossing for Bridge City News, I'm Angela Stewart.
Thank you so much, Angela. Another convoy headed towards Victoria, BC, made a stop in Duncan. The following clip was recorded by one of our viewers, and he says the Trudeau Liberals are disconnected from what many Canadians are all about.
There's just so many Canadians that are just so sick and tired of what's going on. This convoy is going to be going to Victoria. These are the kind of people that Trudeau doesn't associate with, by the looks of it. I don't think he has the foggiest notion of what these people are all about. You're running out of room in this. We're at the weigh scales north of Duncan. Traffic is from one end of it to the other. Looks like they'll have to start doubling up or tripling up.
Some in the mainstream media have talked about extremists, including white supremacists, latching on to this convoy. A tweet of a Confederate flag flying from the back of a pickup went viral on Saturday. BCN's David Craig, who has been in Ottawa since before the convoy arrived, weighs in on the controversy.
When we've been here, we've been seeing nothing but a joyous celebration from people, lots of chants of freedom and love and unity. I've heard a lot of people say that the slogan, "We're all in this together," actually means something now when they've been here. I think for every group that's gathered, you look at different politicians, different leaders of our countries, when they do gatherings, there's always some people in there trying to disrupt, always some people trying to get in there and make false representations. So there's going to be some people like that that gather just in the sheer amounts of numbers of people getting together, but that does not represent what everyone is here for. Talking with organizers, talking with truckers right here who's parked along Wellington, right in front of Parliament Hill, they do not want to see anything of that sort. They are here to promote unity for Canada and freedom to choose and a government that actually represents the people.
And speaking of controversy, a Nazi flag was allegedly seen behind Alberta MP Michael Cooper as he was being interviewed by the CBC recently. Following the interview, MP Cooper released a statement which said, "Nazism is the purest form of evil, and I have always condemned it completely. Whoever flew this flag is personally responsible for that reprehensible decision and should be eternally ashamed of him or herself. He or she does not represent the thousands of peaceful protesters who waved Canadian flags and acted responsibly. I stand with them and will continue to fight for them." Our Ottawa team had a chance to catch up with a Sikh truck driver and asked if he had seen any examples of racism so far at the rally.
Not a single sign, not a single guy I met here with that, with racism or something like that. white supremacy.
Yeah.
It's all about everybody's hugging, kissing. Look at that money here. Everybody's
Yes.
giving that and gifts and everything.
Yes.
I didn't met anybody. Maybe Trudeau met inside his house somebody maybe.
Oh, I love it. It's all Canadians coming
all
together
Canadians.
to be peaceful and to champion the cause for us.
This is the first time I feel proud to be a Canadian.
Hey.
Now, these truck drivers are from all over the world. David Craig met a truck driver named Vic. Vic grew up in a communist country and gave some great insight about the community of truckers and how they and the police are working together to make sure that people's needs are met and that the rally remains peaceful.
Hey, just had a quick conversation with my friend Vic behind me. He's in the semi, the gray semi right behind me. He's letting me know that what they're trying to do is they just simply want to go join up with the rest of the convoy. As you can see, there's police blockades. He gave me some really interesting information. He's born in Poland. He grew up under communism. He believes that the way that our government has been acting is starting to encroach upon ways that it should not. He's also let me know this awesome piece of information that the convoy organizers are actually coordinating with the trucks here, so certain trucks can go and certain trucks can come back so they can continue bringing supplies of food. They do not want to have a food shortage at all. They do not want anything to happen to Canada or make it harder for Canadians. But Vic told me that he is vaccinated. He can cross the border. He goes back and forth from Florida to here quite often, but he says it's not fair for him to keep on working while you have a whole bunch of other guys who are not working, is that we should all be working together and have the opportunity to work. So that's from Vic and what he said. I want to give you an update on that. As we're here, we're just down the road from Parliament. There's another police blockade. This is where the original truck that went through got through. And as you can see, there's a bunch more that simply just want to get through. The police are being great too, though. From all the guys are saying they're incredibly nice, and they're just here putting up a blockade like they're being instructed to do. So we'll try to keep these stories coming towards you, but that's what we know for now.
A big point of controversy people have been hearing about this past weekend is at the monument of the grave of the unknown soldier. Well, seeing is believing, and what our team in Ottawa saw was actually a ceremony and people bringing flowers to honor Canada's fallen soldiers. This morning, David Craig provided us with an update from the memorial site.
Just here at the grave of the unknown soldier. A group is gathering behind me this morning at 10 a.m. There's also some word being thrown around. They're going to do a ceremony this morning at 10 a.m. A lot of these people here are part of the convoy, paying their respects and honoring the men that have sacrificed in the past. Just want to let you know that is going on here right now at the war memorial. And what we'll do is we'll keep coming back at you with other stories.
You've heard from the people. Now, what about the politicians? Well, many politicians have been tight-lipped about the Freedom Rally in Ottawa. However, here in southern Alberta, we have two who have been vocal in their support of the truckers, the convoy, and the rally at Parliament Hill. We start first with Cypress Medicine Hat Independent MLA Drew Barnes, who gave us a bit of time last Saturday to share his thoughts and his support for the convoy and the Freedom Rally. Here is that conversation between our news director, Hal Roberts, and Drew Barnes.
Drew, what are your thoughts on this movement so far?
Oh, Hal, I'm so thankful and grateful first of all, for what the truckers have done for us, their extra efforts through the pandemic, keeping our shelves full, our economy strong, but particularly now, the fact that these truckers, these organizers, donors, and now tens of thousands of Alberta and Canadian supporters have found the courage to really express in a peaceful, respectful way their strong desire and need for freedom, freedom from the mandates, economic freedom. And, when you see so many people step up with their time and their money and a singular message, I'm so grateful and appreciative that they've done this. And now it's up to the politicians and the policymakers to listen and to react accordingly.
How do you think Justin Trudeau and the Liberals will respond to this convoy?
Well, they need to respond to this. Clearly, when tens and tens of thousands of Canadians and Albertans speak with one voice in a very respectful way, get involved in our system, as is their duty, and with the extreme courage that they've showed, it is up now to Prime Minister Trudeau and the Liberal cabinet. It's up to provincial premiers to respect what they're being asked for. Hal, it comes back to the fact that, 23 months of COVID mandates and COVID restrictions here in Cypress Medicine Hat, as all of Canada, the mandate and situation have caused as many crises and as much hardship as COVID itself. My goodness, we've been through a mental health, an economical health, and a physical health crisis, and Albertans and Canadians are expressing their strong need for freedom, their strong need to have their voices heard. And Hal, unfortunately, we've seen all too often where we're in Ottawa and premiers across the country haven't responded to what the needs are of individuals, families, when it comes to protecting civil liberties, individual rights.
Canadians are extremely frustrated with the lockdowns and the mandates. Drew, is there an end in sight?
I hope the end in sight is coming, and you know, we can start and look at some of the failures. You know, the fact that provinces haven't been able to increase ICU beds. You know, the fact that now with Omicron, it seems like the spread is in the 24th month is as wide as ever. So we need to accept that COVID will be with us. We need to accept that individuals and families are great at taking care of each other. And it's a situation where very much so, you know, premiers and prime ministers need to recognize that this is more than just a health crisis. It's a crisis of our civil liberties. It's a crisis of our economy. It's a crisis of our families, and we need to have that involved in the decision making as well. And yeah, it's time to move forward.
Thanks so much, Drew. That was independent Cypress Medicine Hat MLA Drew Barnes joining us from Medicine Hat.
From the Lethbridge area, Hal Roberts spoke with our local MP, Rachel Thomas. Hal and Rachel spoke for a few minutes about what she sees the truckers are working towards, the effects of the Freedom Rally, and what all this holds in store for Canadians' civil liberties.
Now, one of the biggest stories a lot of Canadians are talking about is the huge Freedom Convoy making its way to Ottawa. Bridge City News, in fact, will be there this weekend as we interview a lot of the truckers and the MPs who are supporting this rally. Now, truckers who are participating saying the rally isn't just about the vaccine mandate, but all of the mandates, and they're fighting for our freedoms. Now, you, and as I mentioned, a number of Conservative MPs are supporting the truckers in this endeavor. Why is that?
Absolutely, Hal. I stand with the men and women of this country who are joining as a unified body of people standing up for the rights and freedoms of Canadians. Look, at the end of the day, this is a group of individuals who are wanting to infuse hope. They're wanting to stand for what's right. They're wanting to draw attention to mandates that are causing significant harm, not only to our mental health, our physical health, but also to our ability to earn a livelihood, et cetera. And then, of course, you know, as truckers, they're taking a stand for you and for me, for all Canadians, in the sense that this is going to have, the mandate is having and will continue to have a huge impact on supply chain, our ability to be able to go to the grocery store and purchase, you know, groceries for our refrigerator at home, or being able to put clothes on our back, or other household items that we rely on. So these are individuals who are passionate about what it is to be Canadian, true north, strong and free, and they're advocating for all of us.
Now, what are you anticipating is actually going to occur once all of the truckers, I mean, thousands upon thousands of truckers converging in Ottawa? I mean, I've worked in Ottawa as well in the past. Parking is kind of premium. It's kind of limited around Parliament Hill there.
Well, certainly it's going to be a very congested downtown core. And, you know, it's going to be up to the powers that be to sort that out. But certainly there is this group of dedicated men and women who are coming to town, and it is their right to peacefully assemble and peacefully protest, and they're laying hold of that, and they're taking action.
Now, Rachel, the National Post had a great story on the ongoing and unnecessary erosion of Canadian civil liberties. How did we get to this point, and can the erosion be reversed?
Yeah, you know, it is sad. We're you know, about 2 years in now from the time that we were first told to isolate, and that the government was going to figure this out. And we were told it was only going to be a couple of weeks, and then maybe a couple of months, and then eventually we were told, well, you know, if a certain percentage of the population is vaccinated, then we can return back to normal. And then that changed again, and the goalposts continue to move. And at the end of the day, you know, I think Canadians are feeling rightly frustrated. And I think, you know, trusting government and the mandates is declining. You know, and so some of those mandates, some of those infringements, would be, travel. So the fact that you have to test before you leave the country, you have to test before you come back to the country, and then you might have to test even upon arrival once again. And and a rapid antigen test isn't acceptable. It has to be a PCR test. And there's just one blockade after another, one hurdle after another that we have to overcome, in order to enjoy our civil liberty, which is, of course, movement. Not to mention, you can't even get on an airplane to begin with if you're not vaccinated. This is an infringement on our rights. I could go on and on. The right to assemble, our religious rights, the right to be able to earn a livelihood. All of these things are being infringed upon by the government. And ultimately, coming forward, there will be cases, there already are cases, where the government will have to demonstrate, that this is justifiable. I'm not convinced they'll be able to do that.
As this update comes to a close, we will leave you with these passionate words from this former Canadian soldier who spoke with David Craig on the streets of downtown Ottawa on Monday afternoon.
This has been an emotional year for me because, when you serve overseas, or you serve in general, even if you serve 1 minute in the army, you're serving. We're always preparing for war. Unfortunately, it's what's required for freedom. Okay? And just because you don't have medals on your chest, or just because you're the cook in the military, doesn't mean you're not serving. And you question your service now when you go overseas and you're like, Canada's the freest place, and we'll fight for your freedom. You should come live in Canada because we have the best human rights in the world. And then this year's been a very emotional year. The trip's been very emotional for me. It's like, why did I serve? You know what I mean? There's no human rights here now. Yeah. And I questioned why I served. I was like, man, and I cried a lot. And I've been crying for a long time. And so have the guys that have served. So have the guys that lost guys over there. So is my dad. So is my grandfather. We fight for freedom because we fight for you guys. And we just want you guys to fight for us. That's all. That's how freedom works.
So you've been sharing your heart. A lot of things have been going on with you. What would you like to see accomplished? Like how would this end ideally for you?
We have to teach tolerance to the Canadians. I mean, like we can't ignore the fact that we have a lot of people that are still concerned, have different medical decisions than we have.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we don't have time for the cold and flu anymore. We have bigger problems in this country. If we win today or tomorrow or whenever we win, we find a path forward that makes sense for everybody in Canada. We have so many things to do, and the cold and flu is way down the list at this point, okay? We have other things, and so when this is over, we actually have to get to work. We have to fix ourselves, we have to fix our families, we gotta then fix our kids, and then we gotta go out and find ways to improve this country. We invest so much money in COVID and no return. We could have fixed our healthcare system with that. We could have done a lot of things. It doesn't cost any money to fix racism. It doesn't cost any money to fix the climate. It doesn't cost any money to fix homelessness. It costs $0. But if you want to sit in your house and not be informed and pay taxes for this guy to do it for you and just hit like buttons, then you're just gonna feel that you can't afford to live.
More updates are to come as history unfolds at the Freedom Convoy in Ottawa. Stay tuned to Miracle Channel for more updates from Bridge City News. And be sure to follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram channels. Until next time, I'm Naveen Day, and thanks for joining us.